The host has started broadcasting this meeting on YouTube. Consent to being live streamed.
Boo! Now you're.
You can watch or share with others. Window. Leave meeting button.
Is that your computer, Seth?
That was.
Can you stop it?
I just did.
All right, I didn't.
Did.
All right.
Do you hear it anymore?
Now my own computer's talking to me, but I think
we don't hear that.
I think we're good, but I was worried I was going to get the delay. Man, I had our new theme song all ready to go. Man, messed it up. Here we go. In case you didn't know, this is the Beepball Blues Show. Yeah, set, ready, pitch, let's go. Here comes the Beepball Blues Show, the Beepball Blues Show, the Beepball Blues Show with your host, Captain Neil D.A.W.G. and Dr. Bam Bam Clark, the dog. Yeah, we got to get a microphone for you. You do sound a little away now.
Oz away, Neil Dog. I'm sorry. I can speak up. I can enunciate.
That's perfect.
I'm trying to reach the students in the back row of the lecture hall. Hello.
Hello.
To the front row so you can hear better. Yes, sir.
Well, welcome. We got a lot of stuff to dive into. Our boy Frank Porter, third member of the Beepball Blues Show, is out posting the links in the comment sections where we've promoted the show so people can find it quickly. But always remember, folks, the fastest way to know what we're doing on this channel is to subscribe to the Beepball Blues Show. Hit your notifications to get all notifications, because we're going to be going live a lot during the World Series. Are you ready for that? Like 5 straight days of live Beepball Blues Show.
Oh, Neil, can't wait, man. It sounds exciting. Man.
Excellent.
Exciting, dude. All jam-packed full shows. 2 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 11 in the morning. You got to be signed up to our YouTube channel so you know when we're going live.
Excellent. Great promo. We'll let you do that every week.
Yeah, you gotta go.
So we had 2 different tournaments going on, one in Champaign, just a 3-team tournament with the Thunder and the Archers and the Chicago Comets. And we also had the second part to the Beast of the East that went on this past weekend. We are going to talk about all that, recap those games. But first, we got Nestor Gonzalez here, a member of the New Jersey Titans. He's here talk to us about the National Beat Baseball Association, the World Series now just a little over 2 weeks away. And at the World Series, we're going to have the kids of our league clinic going on, and we're going to have the long ball competition, fastest player competition. So Nestor's joining us to talk about all that stuff. Man, Nestor, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, doing well.
Yep.
Hey, how'd the tournament go overall this weekend? Did you guys have a successful tournament? Not like your team, but just the Beast of the East in general? Did everything go well?
Yep. There was some fear that the weather was going to push us back. And with, teams traveling and organizing volunteers, it was, let's hold times as best as we could. And, John Margis and them put together a great day. The weather ended up pulling out, a couple scattered light, showers here and there for the first maybe game. And then it went off without a hitch, man. We had a great time.
I was impressed listening to some of the games. I could hear the raindrops hitting the tent and everything, but you guys just kept rolling on through. No interruptions.
Oh, yeah, got to keep on going, right? Got to get the games in.
True enough. Hey, before we dive into all this NBBA stuff, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're on the show for the first time. Like, how long have you been around Beat Baseball? How'd you find it? What's your connection? All that stuff.
Yeah. So we started, Damien Gonzalez is my son.
Right.
We started December of 2017. We got recruited onto the New Jersey Titans. And our first World Series was Eau Claire. And we were looking for an alternative to hardball. Damien was bugging me for hardball, and we tried softball, stuff like that. But once we got in contact with the NBBA, that's what he wanted to do. So, that's my history with getting into the league was through Damien.
And Damien's just like 14 now, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, he just turned 14 in June.
A nice young up and coming player. So if he was trying to get into hardball, is he partially sighted?
He is partially, yes.
Okay.
So he probably, could feel the ball if he was 15 feet from somebody and it wasn't coming super fast, right? But once you start getting into fully throwing a ball and, a ball getting hit off a bat, he wouldn't be able to catch up with that,
Hey, what was his first World Series in 2017? What, he would have been 9 at that point in time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 2018, I think it was, or whatever. What are those? Who knows?
He was young.
2018, 2018 was the first one that we went to.
How was that for him? What was that?
He was just excited to be on the team. We got some pictures of him on the sideline with the mask on, swinging the bat. I think we got him in one of our last games versus Seattle, and he put a ball in play.
Nice.
Obviously, he got put out. Their defense was one spotter defense. They actually had a guy come from across the field and make the play on him. His little legs were trying to get down the line, but he hit the bag, but he hit it a little too late. So that was super exciting for him. And as time has gone by, he's gotten a couple more reps here and there, especially this year.
Oh, that's good.
Aren't you you pitch now, right?
Yeah, I'm like multi-purpose. I'm like pitch.
Awesome. You're one of those staff members that doesn't say no to anything.
Right. I started
Excellent.
off catching. Yeah, in 2017 we started off with a new pitcher. I joined. We had about 3 other guys join also that year, and I just started catching at BP, and that's what it started as. And then of course, as needed to jump in and do what I can.
Do you think if he would have done hardball, you would have been as active in are you the type of person who would have coached anyway, or did you get involved because
I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's all.
Yeah. So I coach his wrestling team, assistant coach. I'll coach my daughter's soccer team and her softball team, assistant coach,
Right.
But if he was doing the hardball, like for instance, we did softball in our town in the rec with Damien, and I was in the outfield with him and mimicking a spotter, go left, ball's coming to your right. And the coaches were cool. They let me stay out there. They knew the situation, so yeah,
they didn't want the liability of him getting plucked in the head.
And I didn't want to give them that liability. I didn't want to give them that excuse to say no, so, hey, I'm here. I'll volunteer my time as well, so.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
Yep.
You're definitely talking right up Seth's alley. He's got 2 boys and a girl, and he's in there doing all that stuff you're talking. So.
Oh man, it doesn't stop. It's from one sport or one activity to the next. And
I limit myself to just coaching football. So all their basketball, all their soccer, all their baseball, that's all on them. But football, I'm there every day, every year.
Yeah, man. Gotta be active.
With the Titans,
mail message to open the notifications menu.
You should be. You're not going. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to dock your pay this week, man. Frank Porter was very happy to find out that he gets paid the same whether we go live or if he has to do editing or not. He gets paid the same. With the Titans, unfortunately, one of our better teams unable to go to the World Series this year. Are you and Damien?
This meeting is being live streamed by Step Character Palette.
I don't even know if I'm saying the right names because it's Steph's computer.
You are currently on a close button.
I can
To
hear
click
you
this
now.
button, press Control Option Space.
You're
I
killing me.
can't close it, man. I can't. I'm trying to Command F5 it, and I just can't. The keyboard is all new and it's all sleek. All that stuff. I just can't find it, man. So hopefully nobody else emails me. Because we just got to deal with it, man.
So it's all right. It is what it is. Are you and your son hooking up with a team for the World Series?
Yeah, we're hooking up with the Long Island Bombers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
local team,
For some reason, I thought you were going with one of the Texas teams. I don't know why I thought that, but
No, there were a couple of options, but we felt, we're close to Long Island, and we can get in some practice with them and jump on board. Yep.
Excellent. All right, so since we were talking about kids and beat baseball, let's talk about the kids of our league first. Why don't you tell us what's going on with that, and how long you've been involved with it, and all that good stuff?
Yeah. So 2017, 2018, my first World Series, I was asking about it. To have Damien come just rock the bench the whole World Series, I want to try to at least get him into doing something. And I think it was on Beepball Nation. We just started chatting about it, and people started listening, and a couple of the members in the league put together this clinic. The first one was 2019,
maybe? Yeah, in Tulsa.
2019. Yeah. We coined it Cool, Kids of Our League, when we were looking for the name. And we had about 6, maybe 7 kids and their families in 2019. We had players, Kyle Lewis was down there helping out. We had Brandon Chesser came down, helped out with some of their volunteers, showed us some stuff that they were doing with their kids. We had pulled the bases into 60 feet. We were working, a lot of tee work with them, and just to give them the opportunity to run, unassisted, toward a bag. Some of them were very, hey, you saw them pulling up, and hey, do you have a little brother? Yeah, you wrestle with them. Yeah, hit this bag like you're wrestling with your brother. And we actually had them 5 feet away from the bag and had them just take 2 big strides and tackle it. Get that sensation.
Yeah, get comfortable. Yeah, that's smart.
And showed them some body positioning stuff, put them on the ground, rolled balls at them. Get the sensation of the ball hitting them and having to find it after that impact. You saw some of them. The stuff had never happened to them before, so that they were just, lit up and wanted to do it again.
Was it mostly like local kids or kids
it was
players?
It was local kids.
Okay.
It was local kids. We had Damien was there. Tatiana, I want to say, was the young lady from the Austin Blackhawks that came down.
All right.
And I think those were the only kids that were really in the league at that point. And then the 6 kids local from schools, and we had ended up getting a hold of the local Lions Club, and they had come down to come check it out. It was a total maybe 20 people we had. We had players rotating in and out. Of course, we had a little pizza for the kids at the end, and we gave them all a beat baseball. The
cool.
Kids that came in from the local community, we were able to do that. It was only 6 balls, so it wasn't a huge feat.
All right. Did you guys do it last year? I'm sorry,
we did not. Well, the plan was to do it after meeting, with the league and the members committee last year. They decided, and collectively we said that we would hold off. And I said, hey, well, then let's make sure we do it big the following World Series.
And Texas is a good place to do it, just between like the Jets and the Blackhawks. I know they've done a lot of good work with younger players, and the Value City Heat has always been a team that seems to find young players and brings them up through the ranks. So Texas probably be a good place to do it. The tournament starts on Tuesday, July 26th. Isn't that the same day
This meeting is
that?
being live streamed. By staying in this meeting, you consent to
Yeah.
being live streamed.
So the first year
Well,
we did
hold
it.
it. Wait for. All right,
Oh, calm down. He could hear. I got it. I
well,
got it.
but I want our
No,
audience to
I
hear
know, I got you.
what he's saying.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
The first year we did it was on the Tuesday. We felt it was the lighter day out of the week. And we're going to do the same thing again, Tuesday, 6:30, at the Quinn Soccer Complex. We're going to be out there. And, we have the open registration, and the registration will probably stay open, up until the day of. We're hoping that the local teams do respond. And I got reached out to by a couple of players to share the link again, and seems that they're forwarding stuff around. So it's a good sign. I don't know the numbers yet as far as how many kids we got registered, but I think it's going to go off pretty well for that town.
Excellent. Well, definitely
One
shout out.
second. Let me try one thing, Neil Doug. I know this is live TV, but
Zoom.us has new system dialog.
shit,
Voiceover off.
I'm sorry. Oh, we're good. Woo, success. Persistence
Excellent.
always overcomes resistance, Neil Doug. Carry on, carry on, carry on.
I have no. Oh, I was just going to shout out all the Texas teams, since you will be since you've got blind kids closer to Beaumont, Texas than the rest of us do. Definitely push it out there in your community and try to get some outreach going with the younger players, and hopefully they'll show up for this. Now we know that beat baseball players, just like any other sports figures, have big egos.
Ego.
And there's nothing that a lot of them love more than talk about who's faster and who could hit better than who. What's going on this year with the skills competitions?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing after opening ceremonies. We got it slated to start off at about 6:00. We're going to do the longest ball and fastest man. I would love to grow the skills competition. We can talk about that later on. But so the longest ball, you're going to get 2 minutes, to hit the ball as far as you can. Basically, there's not much to it.
Does
if you wanna,
each player provide their own pitcher? Or is there pitchers
correct.
provide? Okay.
So during registration, we're asking that you provide your pitcher and your catcher's name. Once everything is collected, we're looking to get a live stream going. I actually talked to Matt Wallace yesterday at the Beast of the East, and I said, "Hey, dude, would you do this for us?" And he was just so excited. He's like, "Hell yeah!" So we'll give that list over to Matt. Matt will be able to, put it out there, some kind of live stream going about it. And
got to get Rosina Foster in there with them they're doing play-by-play together. They're a great team. So
I'm sure they'll talk
about
it. Yeah, I'm sure they'll talk about it. The more the merrier to me. If she wants to sit in, go for it. So we're gonna have the umpires are gonna help us out. Mr. Price says he'll help us with both. So we'll have some kind of official bodies on the field to help, if there's any questions or decisions need to be made. But we're going to be looking for some volunteers, man. We're going to be looking for coaches or volunteers, people that, know how our players move around and what needs to be done to kind of organize it. Is, as simple as somebody shagging the balls and getting them back to the pitcher. So, there's no delay with a ball being available to throw. As simple as helping just organize who's on deck, who's on double deck, and be ready so that we can move through the competitions, as quick as possible. Yeah. So if anybody wants to volunteer with that, you can reach out to members, at nbba.org, and we'll get the email and we'll assign you something to do.
I have a question about the longest ball hitting contest.
Yeah.
Do you measure it where? Why don't you guys measure it for where like the ball actually stops, as opposed to like
Where it
the
lands.
where it lands? I mean, again, it does really favor those who have those, you know, uppercut swings. But as we all know, man, a line drive is it's just as effective as a at times. But I
Yeah.
just wonder, just a
I
thought.
actually never put any thought to it. And, this is a living, growing thing, man. And, we can absolutely incorporate anything that's decided on, just to make it funner. To me, hitting a long ball in a typical baseball home run derby, over the fence is a home run, and that's what counts during a home run derby. So I guess that's the logic that we, put to it when somebody says longest ball.
Right.
Um, you know, um, yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about incorporating that into next year's, a way to collect that data. It may take us a bit longer. You can have a ball that doesn't land that far but goes further than a ball hit in the air. So collecting
Right.
every single ball that's hit, might be tough. It might be tough, but it's
I
doable.
I'm a little surprised by the question, not because it's not a good question, but because Seth, you're a long ball hitter.
I
Like
am.
Nestor, you probably don't know this, but Seth, at the age of 17, hit the first ever beat baseball home run when the line was at 180 feet. So
Is
Bam
that
Bam's
on
a
video?
long. That's a long ball hitter asking about line drives.
And and,
So
and I
Seth,
won
listen
this
to this.
contest the first time.
Listen to this, Seth. If you hit a ball 180 and it hits the ground and just plunks right there and stops, and then somebody hits a ball 120 but it rolls to 185, would you be a little salty if you didn't win that one?
It's a tough one. I mean, I'm not,
That's a yes or no question.
I'm not, I'm not saying because after I was a long ball hitter, right? I won the first long ball hitting contest. I turned into a line drive hitter, and I don't think I could win a contest now. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just threw it out there as a,
Yeah,
as a
no, and like I
suggestion.
said, we're open and you know, I would love to get to the point where we have multiple skills competitions. I know there have been conversations by multiple players. I can't remember the exact players, but stuff as far as fielding. How do you
Right.
gauge that? How do you gauge somebody fielding a fly ball? These smaller, let's grade somebody on how to catch a fly, how they play a fly ball. Let's grade somebody how they play a ball that's 2 zones away from them, and collect the data. And then, that top 100 player rankings might be a little bit different. I mean, the top players, they're phenomenal. They
Right.
can do it all. But one might be the final score might be slower than a guy who was faster and had a couple more attributes than them, and it might get interesting to grade all the athletes. And that would be next year during the off season. Maybe we'll look to get a couple more things added to the skills competition, and develop it as well. And have fun with it. These players love to talk trash when they can, and as long as it's in a respectful manner, it's promoted. So I'm into it. If anybody wants to hit us up at that email address to recommend something, we'll even have the opportunity at the end of the skills competition to try something out. Let's run it with 2 of the players and see, collect a little data or whatever.
Right.
All right.
And that email address again is members@nbba.org if you want to reach out about this. We've talked about the long ball, the running competition. I don't believe we said, but each runner will be given 3 opportunities, right? 3 passes.
Yeah. So, it was back and forth. How do you push it out? And we're going to give everybody 3 opportunities to run their fastest time. We're going to have a start point. 100 feet later is going to be a bag. And you can start in a 3-point stance, standing straight up, however you want to start, as long as you start behind the line. We'll have 3 stopwatches going, and we'll take the average time out of that. I'm trying to get primarily the umpires on stopwatches, also reaching out to coaches and stuff like that to see if we can get people that really know, like, hey, this guy's toe could touch this bag and it counts. If you missed a bag, obviously the run is going to be DQ'd. So we had, I believe it was 12 runners the first time we ran it, and it was fun. Guys were talking up and down the sideline. Shirts are coming off, people are talking trash. But they're out there, they're running. And they're having a great time. We're gonna trial a wearable device. I researched a little bit. You can have these gates and stuff like that, but the fear is that somebody will run into a gate, get hurt, or what have you, and some of them actually are pretty pricey.
I was gonna say, I'm not worried about the beepball person getting hurt, man. It's paying for those damn gates.
Yeah. So I ended up finding one that is a very reasonable price. It's a wearable watch, and it's made by a company called Jawku, Jawku. No, I'm not getting paid by them, but in case people out there wanted to look at it, it's pretty cool. You can set it up to your phone. You can run the 100 feet, no problem. And then there's a one tripod that holds your phone. It's probably about 8 inches off the ground. And, as you get into the frame, it clocks your time. The actual wearable, can start with an audible, or it can start on movement. So, once I receive it here in the next day or two, we're going to throw it on Damien and his sister and, make them run up and down the block, see how it works, And we'll try to collect all the data and share it. We looking to get, some prizes for the winners. That hasn't been 100% settled. But last year 2019, the winners did get a Beep baseball signed by Pete Rose. So, we'll see what else possibly we can add on to it. But those are the two skills competitions.
Glad to see you buy into Seth's philosophy of using your kids for free labor. Getting the maximum work out of them that you can. So for each team, with each competition, each team has the right to submit both one male and one female name to the competition. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we're promoting it to one female, one male. I guess if you got somebody running a 12-second base and you want to submit them, we can go through that process. But we want serious, submissions to, help the flow of the event as well.
Yeah, I was going to point that out because I know I read that. Even though each team can submit one male and one female, this is a competition to see who's the best of the best. So they're not simply looking for a participant from each team unless it's a serious participant. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but I'm not going to reject anybody that submits. I'll leave that on them. But yes, you are correct. Yeah.
All right. So it's official, Steve Gary. You can run in the competition now. Just teasing. I'm teasing. Congratulations, Steve, by the way. He won our wool giveaway last week. Listening to the show live, picked up on all 5 words. So shout out to Steve. As if you needed the ticket, Steve. You feel guilty. All right. Let's dive into the tournaments that went on this week. And since Demo wasn't able to jump in with us, we'll go ahead and dive into the Beast of the East first and talk about the Champaign tournament next. So this was the second leg of this tournament. The teams involved were the New Jersey Titans, Long Island Bombers, the Boston Renegades, and the Philly Fire. And the Philly Fire went 3-0 in the first leg of the tournament. And it was Boston that went 3-0 this time. So they each over the 2 legs went 5-1, but because of I believe was the tie run differential? Do you know, Nestor?
I heard conflicting opinions while I was walking around the field.
Okay.
I haven't gone through the rule book for the Beast of the East to find out, but I was told that it was heads up between the 2 teams, the run differential, and then there were some opinions that it was total runs for the tournament.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
Philly
think
did end up coming away with it.
I think Philadelphia would have won either with whichever way it went, run differential for the whole thing or head-to-head. In their head-to-head game in the first leg, Philadelphia won 15-12, and this time around Boston won 12-10. But I think in the overall run differential, Philadelphia would have won that. Either way, Philadelphia was named the champion, second year in a row that the Philly Fire got named champion of the Beast of the East. Running down the games, round 1 of those games, you had the Philly Fire beat Long Island 14-3. Boston defeated the Titans 11-4. In the second round of games, Long Island defeated the New Jersey Titans 5-2, with the Fire taking down Boston 12-10. Another close game between those 2 teams. I swear, if those 2 teams played 7 games, it would be it played a 7-game series, it would go the full 7 games. In the 7th game would probably be like a 1 or 2 run game. Round 3, finishing up that tournament, the Philadelphia Fire beat the I can't read my own writing. Good Lord, what did I write? Yeah, but I can't. I know that, but I can't tell what the heck that I wrote. Anyways, the Fire beat the Titans in a 9-2 ball game. I got bad braille skills sometimes. I put on my number sign, I had some extra dots, so that was throwing me off. It's like, what do I have there? Anyways, the final game was Boston defeating the Long Island Bombers 8-4 in a game that the Long Island Bombers had the lead going into the 4th inning, but Boston ultimately came back and won that game 8-4, wrapping up that tournament. Any since you were there live, Nestor, any other thoughts on that tournament and those games?
I mean, the tournament itself was great because it was local. I didn't have to get on a plane and go anywhere. Number 1. Number 2 is, those teams, because we see each other so often, it's really a great time. The whole vibe and atmosphere is very laid back. We even saw some of the teams in Colts Neck as well. So we know a lot of the people personally. As far as the competition wise, Philly and Boston, man, I'm telling you, whoever does the most work these next couple of weeks, is going to take that that step above the other team. They're just so closely matched up.
Yeah.
That, I don't get to see the games because I'm on another field playing a game. But when I do catch up to them, it's exciting stuff.
I think I agree that they're really they're pretty evenly balanced. My gut feeling is that Philadelphia has the higher ceiling. Like I can see them, having a strong tournament. I'm not sure. I mean, we're only 2 weeks out now, so I'm not sure if they're ready to make that jump. They seem really close and poised. It's going to be fun following them through the tournament. Your own Titans team, I know, went 0-3 for the tournament, but I hear you guys were pretty short-handed this weekend.
Yeah, I'd like to give a big shout out to Deshaun Widener and Zach Turner. They both had 2 baby boys. Zach's son was born this afternoon, and Sean's son was born 4 days ago. So those 2 guys and their volunteers that they come with, were out, a couple of our players, two more of our starters were not there. One of our catcher spotters wasn't there as well. So, we did what any big family does. We packed everybody in the car and went down there and had a good time. My mom was there, my wife was spotting, my daughter was catching, I was pitching and spotting, my dad was the bat boy. So, we got through, and you know what, man, we had such a great time. Our bench was so cool and loose, and we played, man. We competed. We had 6 players out there competing, and that's the ultimate goal of the Beast of the East, right? Just to get out there and compete.
Nice. I'm disappointed for your whole Titans team. We've featured your team on the show before, and that was one of our most fun shows. And I know your roster's gone through a lot of changes since then. But I'm not just disappointed to not see your team at the World Series. Zach Turner's one of our best all-around players in the game right now, and having him miss a tournament at this point in his career when he's at the top, I'm sad for him and for the game that he's gonna miss out on a year. Although I know he'll be back strong.
Oh yeah, Zach's definitely gonna come back stronger than ever. But the reasons that he's out for, any adult would be out, for those reasons. He's a tremendous player, tremendous leader on our team. Some of the athletes that he runs into, during the other stuff that he does. I mean, this guy cycles, he jogs, marathon, you name it. It's helped for recruiting as well.
Yeah.
So his wife Allison is huge on the team as well. She does a lot of stuff in the background for us. And, I'm excited for them to come back. We already talked about getting the extra wide pack and play for the 2 new kids, have the family tent set up in the back, and, let's go play ball next year.
Excellent. I've never talked to Zach. I've wanted to have him on the show for a long time and failed to get him on so far. But I had a chance to hear him talk on Richie's show not too long ago for the first time, and had a good time just finally getting to know a little bit more about him. So it'd be great to have him on sometime. But congratulations to both your players and their family expansions. That's really cool. I had no idea coming in, so that's cool.
Yep.
All right.
We're quiet, Neil, but we're still here, man. Titans have been a little quiet, but we're still here, dude.
We're here.
Tighten up, y'all. All right, let's jump through this champagne and wrap up the rest of the games and let Nestor get back to the evening. In the Champagne tournament, originally Wichita was supposed to be a 4th team in that tournament, but unfortunately they weren't there. So it was just the 3 teams: the Indy Thunder, Gateway Archers, and the Chicago Comets.
Oh, who won out of the Comets and the Archers? You gotta tell me, Neil Dog. I've been waiting all day to find this out, man.
Do you actually know the answer?
I do not know the answer.
Oh, it's gonna kill you. They finished in a 13-13 tie.
Oh, geez. Give me a break.
I'm just gonna tell you. So since they were down to the 3 teams, they went into it similar to what you guys did with the tournament on the East Coast, Nestor. They went into it planning to do 3 8-inning games. But the day just seemed to be going on, and so it was up for debate or up for conversation as the innings went on, how long they would play. They were arbitrarily, it seemed like, putting time limits on the game. Like about the 4th inning, it's like, it's taking too long. So if an inning starts past this time, we'll have to call it or whatever. So in the first game of the day was the Thunder in Chicago, and the Thunder handed it to the Comets pretty good, 15-6, which was a little bit surprising too, because the Thunder didn't even have Gerald Dicus with them, their top hitter, one of the league's top hitters, and they still rolled them pretty good, 15-6. Then the second game was the Gateway Chicago game. It looked like Gateway was going to take that game, and then Chicago fighting their way back, and And then they hit that time limit at the end of the 6th inning, I guess, and called it a 13. I think it was 6 innings, might have been 7. They called it a 13-13 game.
Have they played twice or 3 times this offseason?
Twice now. One of the games
got rained out.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So twice. And then the final game was Gateway defeating the Thunder 14-11. So, that's their first victory over the Thunder, being a newer program, only in their 3rd year. But that gave them the victory for the tournament also. So winning the tournament this young in their development. I mean, they've got so much with, Ethan and Demo and Rich, all the experienced players. Kim Blumenthal played before. So they got so many experienced players that it's not like they're a 3rd-year team, a regular 3rd-year team, but still it was big for them to win the tournament. I gotta say, I've been high on Chicago because of how they played in the early tournaments, but being that we're 2 weeks out, I was kind of unimpressed with their showing. I know they put 13 up against the Archers, but I feel like for 2 weeks out, we're kind of getting the last dress rehearsal before the World Series, and I'm not as high on Chicago as I was a few weeks ago.
Oh, Chicago always has a shelf life, shall we say?
They may have peaked a little too early.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And we only had one other game. It was a scrimmage game played between the Houston Hurricanes and the BCS Outlaws. I hear both teams were missing a lot of players, but I don't know which players they're missing. But it was a 5-4 Houston Hurricanes victory. And when I hear 2 Texas teams play to a 5-4 game, I'm concerned, Seth Dog, because
defense, man. Texas is all about defense. Once I went over to Texas and started playing for Texas, man, it was all defense from there.
Yeah.
All defense, man. The West Coast had come to Texas.
So maybe that's a sign that's the other note. They played that game in Beaumont where the World Series is going to be played. So maybe it's a sign they got real thick grass at Beaumont.
Tall grass, Neil.
I'm not sure. So any thoughts for you, Nestor, on the Champaign games? I doubt you're able to check any of them out. Any thoughts on those?
I wasn't, but as you're talking, I'm wondering, a couple things like, who pitched for Indy and,
Jared's back on the mound. He's got a safety mask. Yeah. He's back on the mound. He'll be pitching at the World Series.
I thought he was, when they said cleared for the World Series, I didn't know he was cleared for Champaign, but good for him getting back out there.
Yeah, I didn't know if he would be or not either, but he was definitely out there pitching. So Jared back on the mound.
Who pitched for Chicago?
The only game I caught all the way through was their game against the Archers, and that's another thing that makes it kind of hard to judge the game, because for both the teams, Johnny Walker started for Gateway and Chad Perry started for Chicago, but somewhere around the 5th inning or so, Mari Blumenthal came in to finish up the game for Gateway, and Hoodlum's son, Brandon McLaughlin, came in and did some pitching for Chicago. Okay. So they did have their normal starting pitchers, but they didn't pitch all the way through.
Yeah. The 8 innings, when we went into it, it was, hey, teams, turn it around real quick, in between the innings so we can get, stuff in. You have to pick up the pace to get all those innings in, and it was cool. Everybody got extra reps,
Dude, I played an 8-inning game once. It took like 4.5 hours, man. It was a long ass game. So.
I think conceptually it makes sense. You know what I mean? You got 3 teams that travel to the area. One of the teams backs out, so they're losing a game. So it's like, here's one way where everybody can get their money's worth. Right. But I started thinking about it before I went to bed, because they didn't start those games till 10 o'clock. And I'm thinking, man, like at the World Series, when we go at 8, whatever, 9, 11:30, and 2:30. You don't get back until like 5 o'clock, and you're starting 3 8-inning games at 10 o'clock. No way, man. I don't know that any of the games went the full 8 innings. The first one might have. I didn't catch that one, but I'm not sure if any of those games went the full 8 innings. So might not.
And
Go ahead.
if there's anything of the Beaumont scrimmage, any video of it out there, it would be cool to see it from a coaching standpoint, just to see how these fields are playing.
People were calling for it, but I have yet to hear of any popping up, so I don't think that's gonna happen. We're just gonna have to trust any info passed on.
Hey, I kind of on a tangent question. Am I to understand that the 3 strikes proposal did not make it to the convention floor?
Yeah, it did not make it out of.
That's right.
That's crazy. All this talk, all that time, all the tournaments, all that still did not make it out.
And I think it came down to some wording during the proposal that really held it up from getting voted on. Was it that rule, Neil, or was it?
There was so much that
there were a
went
couple
on.
rules,
I was trying to separate them. Because also, Seth, there's a rule, because you wrote the original rule to make the dead ball just a dead pitch instead of a fresh count.
Right.
And there wasn't one, but 2 attempts this year to change that back to what it was. And that had a lot of conversation. And the second time it picked up, the first time it was shut down like 6 yeses and 11 no's. And the second time, I think it made it up to about 8 yeses. So Mike Coughlin was there fighting for it. And he got a couple people to overturn the second time. There's well, you guys want to finish up the 3 strike thing before I guess I switch up?
Yeah, I think that was the rule, that there was the wording, the dead ball. Yeah, the wording of the dead ball with equipment. There was some cleaning up that needs to get done before people wanted to vote yes on it.
So one thing where they lost me, going back to the 3 strikes thing, and lost me forever probably on that, is one of the strongest arguments I heard from the author Hoodlum is that, look, guys, don't we always say we want to be more like the regular players? It's like, I don't want to switch our game to 3 strikes because that's what baseball and softball does. We don't play with the second base. We're not going to change that, I don't think. You know what I mean? If it's better for the game, convince me it's better for the game, I'm all in. But doing it because, and another argument he made that night is the tournament that was played in Bolingbrook this year, they went with 4 strikes. The Thunder tournament the previous week went with 3 and then went with 4. And he talked about like all the counts that went to that 4 strike. When you people are in Beaumont and it's 1,000 degrees outside, you're gonna wish there was no 4 strike and you got off the field after the third one. It's like, I'm never going to wish for more strikeouts to speed our game up. I don't want strikeouts to speed the game up, and I don't want to go to a 4 strike just because that's what they do in baseball. I heard Eric Mazriego say this in an interview once. I never thought about it, but he's right. So even though beat baseball is a version of baseball, the only we use a bat and a ball, and the comparisons almost stop right there. After that, this is our own game, and I'm proud of that. Like, I'm not saying rules don't need to be changed and improved, but I don't want to change it because beat ball isn't like regular baseball. You know what I mean? Change the rule because it makes beat baseball better. No other reason. At least my thoughts. I don't know. I was just surprised at that. I thought at least it would get to the floor, but I expected it too, because it seemed to be building momentum. But it didn't. One that did go to the floor that you might find interesting is the possibility of now a double play if
Yeah.
a fielder fields a ball on one hop. That it would be good for 2 outs. I mean, I'm guessing if there's already
Right.
2 outs, or well, I guess I was going to say or retire the side, but it'd retire the side. It's the 3rd out either way. I don't think the outs carry over to the next inning. So if there's already 2 outs, it'd probably still, I think, just count as the 1 out. But if there's 1 or less outs, fielding a ball on one hop would get you a double play. And I actually voted yes on our behalf for that, even though I just thought it was worthy of going to the floor and letting the players decide it. So I don't know overall. I don't think it will happen a lot. So I guess it's kind of like the home run rule. I think it's something that would just happen here and there. So getting the player a little extra, boost because the player gets 2 putouts rather than 1 in their whatever in their stats. So I don't know.
Right.
I think the player should get to vote on it. We'll see how it plays out. All the years I played up front, I only caught a ball on the bounce 1 time. Maybe that just means I suck, but I don't remember even having a lot of opportunity to do it. You know what I mean? So even if it gets voted through, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on the game overall, but I think it'll be cool for some players when it happens. Exciting. All right, fellas, that's all I got. You guys got anything else? Rules, games? Cool. Let me find the
Button.
yeah, see.
Let me find a button.
I've got a totally different screen than what I had before. And I don't know how to turn it off this time. I'll be able to find it, but it's going to take a second, unfortunately.
Well, folks, as
Yeah.
Neil struggles, we're going to call it a day. Goodbye. No, just
Of course, I
Nestor.
keep going to the wrong thing.
Did Nestor already
Yeah.
bounce on us?
I figured this time, because before I've always messed around and had to go back to where I could end the stream. But this time I just hit the live stream and I just left the keyboard there. So I figured, the stop button would be there when we got to the end of the show. Or I would have prepared ahead of time, but I've got to go find the meeting settings.
As you struggle with that, I saw something interesting today. I was watching the World Football Association Women's Championship from 2020, and the team that won was called the Boston Renegades. I'm like, hey, I know that name. Well, I don't even know if they're still around.
I found the button, but all I heard was the punchline was the name was the Boston Renegades.
Oh, I was just saying I was watching the female professional football championship from 2020, and the Boston Renegades were the team that won the championship. So.
Along those lines, while we have you, Nestor, I did a search trying to find the New Jersey Titans Facebook page. And I think a women's football team came up for that called the New Jersey Titans.
Really?
Am I correct, Nestor? Do you know?
I think there is a New Jersey Titans team, but I thought it was ice hockey. It might be a female ice hockey team. I don't know.
I definitely saw something in my search. Maybe I saw the same thing Seth did about I don't know. Who knows now? We've rambled enough, and I found the button, so we'll get out of here. Thanks, everybody.
That's what we call filler, Neil Dog, filler.
The more we do this live thing, the better we'll get at it. But that's it for now. Everybody be well. Thank you, Nest.